Good morning, happy Monday, Global Frequency Collective. How are you today? So excited to be here. Another fantastic Monday in the books. Got big plans for today. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a great one. All right, I'm gonna start on my Healy here. Turn it on. And today I'm going to talk about creative homeopathic Psyche program. Now, 378 programs within that larger category of programs. I'm not going to dig into that level of minutia. However, I want to talk to you about the premise behind it. So, the creative homeopathic Psyche program is fantastic, and it actually aligns so beautifully with our better understanding of the connection between the psyche, meaning our emotions, our traumas, our experiences, and our physical manifestations of health or illness. So creative homeopathic Psyche was developed by Antony Pepler in Germany. She was a homeopath and over 30 years developed this amazing program where she better understood the linkage between our behaviors and our emotions and our physical manifestations. So it's based on three core principles. First one is symptom language. Now, in our modern medical system, we are taught diagnosis. This is not diagnosis. This is symptoms. And we're looking at symptoms as a way of the body communicating what it needs, what it wants, where it wants to work. I often express to folks that you will experience what's ready to be healed. So it will come up and it'll make itself known, whether it's shoulder pain or a tummy issue or nervousness that comes up, behaviors that keep repeating themselves, etc. The details of these symptoms, whether they're physical, behavioral, or relationship, are a key consideration with understanding our experiences. In other words, what we're seeing real time, right? And to consider the actual situation is really important. What's actually happening. So we may have a behavior, a loop pattern. Someone who cleans obsessively is got a behavior pattern that is rooted in a trauma, and that trauma is expressing itself through that cleaning pattern. Or someone may have a trauma pattern related to a car accident that happened 20 years ago. It's expressing itself through behaviors of fear. Maybe it's expressing itself through old injuries and hurts. It really gets to the what and the why, which I think are the most important questions in terms of healing yourself and your body, all of your experiences, the what and the why. What does the allergy actually mean? Why is my body reacting to pollen? Why is it reacting to cat dander? Why is it reacting to gluten? The what and the why are more important than the how, in that they lead to the how, oftentimes. So you may have had an experience where you witnessed a trauma and there were cats in the room, and that trauma linked itself to cat dander, and now you have a cat allergy. And this has been documented in research around this type of experience with this level of understanding. It also gets into deep psychology and inner conflict. So oftentimes our inner conflicts will express themselves in our day-to-day life. We want to connect those conflicts to the symptoms or the experiences, to the relationships, to how we express our daily experiences of life. What triggers us? Because whatever is triggered is the symptom, if you will, of the inner conflict. It also shows conditions and entanglements. patterns and loops of behavior. So we might keep choosing the wrong person, the wrong type of person for ourselves in a relationship. That's a loop of behavior. We may we may know that we shouldn't hit McDonald's in the morning, but we keep doing it, right? Those are loops of behavior. Once we identify those loops, their homeopathy is connected to that in terms of creating a subtle shift there, okay? What you resist persists, Carl Jung. What you resist persists. Because what's happening is that inner conflict is expressing itself. It wants resolution. So by resisting it, it keeps showing itself. Your subconscious, your soul, will keep saying, I want this resolved. I'm going to keep showing it to you. I'm going to keep showing it to you. And oftentimes it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So ignoring it won't necessarily make it go away. In fact, quite the opposite. And then we set it on a foundation of homeopathy. Now, if you're not familiar with homeopathy, you might do some research into homeopathy. But homeopathy is the subtle, energetic communication between a substance and the body's energy system, which is very similar to what Healy does, right? So homeopathy takes a plant, it creates a solution, it dilutes the solution down to the point where what's left is the energetic signature of that plant or that element, whatever that item is. So it's, sorry. It's Monday. I love it. So it takes the subtle element of that plant and extracts, if you will, its frequency. Similar to what we do with the Healy. We're extracting the frequency and utilizing that frequency to work at that energetic, at the soul, at the spirit level. Okay? So we're looking to balance the ego and the soul. The ego is very much about short-term pleasure. So I mentioned the McDonald's situation. I used to love McDonald's Coke and sandwiches. So the short-term pleasure was that I would go and I get those, and on my way to work, they would give me a little lift, a little perk. But my soul was longing for something better, more health, to feel better beyond that all day, every day. Oftentimes we ignore these unpleasant feelings. We don't want to deal with them, so we push them into the unconscious. But the soul wants us to go and neutralize those energies because the soul knows that those energies become somatic. In other words, they become physical manifestations. So you take that unpleasant emotion, you stuff it. So you take that unpleasant emotion, you stuff it down into a box. You don't address it or deal with it real time. And as a result, it then manifests itself as a physical situation. Okay? Inner conflict is the key. Now, it's sandwiched between the layers of consciousness, between the conscious, which is what we know, which is only about 10%, the unconscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. Okay? So the conscious is your ego, the superconscious is your soul. In between that is a lot of inner conflict and trauma. So in between the inner conflict, between the ego and the superconscious soul is wanting to resolve that conflict. Okay, so creative homeopathy seeks to find that inner conflict expressed through physical patterns, physical illness, things like that, and resolve those. Help your body, help your energy system, help your soul to resolve those items. Things that also come along with, like we all carry this bag of bricks around. We all carry this bag of traumas around. And they don't have to be large traumas. It can be little things. Like when you were in second grade and you did a drawing and you were super excited about it, but then your teacher said, that's not what I told you to do. Go and do something different. So you were crushed because you're like, oh, I really love that drawing. But it wasn't what you were supposed to do. So you got a little bit of a, little smack on the hand, which ended up being kind of traumatic for you. And then it might turn into, hey, I'm not really good at art. And then you give up your dream of art, which puts you in conflict with yourself when yourself wants to express their art. We also get into trauma staging. So what we do is we stage traumas we stage a reoccurrence of that. So we might choose the same type of person in a relationship over and over and over again. We're restaging that trauma. Is it physical? Yes. Is it mental? Yes. Is it behavioral? Yes. Is it addictions? Yes. Is it conflict? Yes. Is it patterns? Absolutely yes. Mental or physical, we are acting against the true self. And that's the key. Mental or physical pain is acting against the true self. So creative homeopathy aims to get you to true self. So does Bach flower. So does Australian bush flower, the gem elixirs. Those are aiming to get you to true self. Okay? So we want to think about the behavior that we are expressing, because what we fear, what the behavior will create itself. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we will keep re-experiencing it until we solve that situation. So you might think about a situation, a relationship, a something in your life, a pattern of behavior, an addiction that you're looking to clear yourself of. And utilizing that, what we do is we go into the creative homeopathic Psyche program, which is in the resonance model. And we then scan for it. Now, here's the thing you need to know. When it's 378 items within that, it's going to take a bit for that to scan. So I'm going to hold my finger on there while we're talking. And it's going to take a few minutes, up to a minute probably, to scan that. And then you can determine, are we talking about acute or are we talking about something deeper? If we're talking about something acute that is really top of mind, that you're experiencing today, that you're experiencing frequently, you may want to run short bursts. So after you scan for it, run short bursts more frequently for things that are acute. So 37 seconds, 5 to 7 times a day. If it's a longer term pattern, you might run a minute 20 for 5 to 7 times a day. Dig deeper with those, okay? So I would encourage you to use the creative homeopathic Psyche on a regular basis. Think about the addictions, the patterns, the traumas, the emotions, the things that you see that are most prevalent in your life. What do you have an outburst over? If your kids spill milk and you have an outburst over it, where's that actually rooted in? Where's it coming from? And get to the root of that and utilize the frequencies of creative homeopathic Psyche to help balance that out. All right, guys. Have an amazing, awesome day. We will see you later. Take care.